Why are most people not financially independent? In other words, why don't they have assets that bring enough income to cover their expenses without them having to work for it? Well, the answer is that most people believe they need a high salary, probably millions of shillings, to become financially independent. But because they earn less, they don't ever try to take the very first step towards financial independence. And that's quite unfortunate because only their belief limits them. The truth is that achieving financial independence does not depend on how much you earn, rather on how you use it. In other words, even if you earn 30,000 to 80,000 shillings, you can become financially independent. But how is that possible? And what should you do to use your salary to become financially independent? Hello there, I am Manyara Kirago and I have been a personal finance professional for the last 2 decades. In this video, I will tell you the biggest challenge my clients face, which results in them giving up on becoming financially independent simply because they don't earn millions. I will explain how you can become financially independent with a modest salary. By the end of the video, you will have clear and actionable steps on how to use your income to become financially independent. If you need help to ensure that you get the best outcome with your finances, I am available for your support. Please check out my Financial Freedom online course, my one-on-one financial freedom coaching, and the Eternity Real Estate program from the links in the description below. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe and share it with anybody who you think may benefit from it. Also, ring the bell icon to be notified each time I post a new video. So let's go. First, let's understand the philosophy behind how you can become financially independent even with a modest income. Well, that's quite easy. If you are earning a modest income and are managing your expenses, you have conquered nearly half the battle. If so, your expenses are also modest and you don't spend like those who earn 3 to 5 times more than you. Therefore, you don't need to buy assets, which they buy because your expenses are lower than theirs. In other words, the amount of assets you will need to cover your expenses will also be less. The philosophy stands even if you earn the lowest to the highest possible salary. The philosophy stands even if you earn from the lowest to the highest possible salary. This proves that no matter what your income, you can become financially independent at your current economic level. Now let's look at the steps to becoming financially independent using your salary. Step number 1 is to figure out your total expenses and the right asset combination to cover them. In this step, you should calculate your future expenses, including all the additional costs that you will be facing. In other words, even if today you're not married, you need to add the expenses of caring for a family because in future you'll probably end up married. The goal is to have a rough figure, an amount which can be used as a base to decide what assets you should choose. You can decide what assets and how many of them you need only when you know what amount of money you need to cover your expenses. After this, you will have to look for suitable assets for you. From stocks to bonds, unit trust funds to real estate, you have quite some options. However, speaking from my experience, the best asset for financial independence is real estate, multi-unit rental property to be precise. Depending on your expenses, you can acquire different properties, each of which will have various units, each bringing monthly rent. So let's assume that you have chosen this asset class. Step number 2 is to make a monthly budget and then stick to it. Most people do make a monthly budget, however, they never quite follow it. And that's when things start to fall apart. However, for you, the budget should be the constitution that you never break, no matter what happens. An approach which works for many in making this budget is not to write all your expenses and then try to cover them in your income. Instead, do the opposite. Divide your income into 3 parts: 50%, 30%, and 20%. Now, give 50% of your income to your needs, the essential things that you cannot live without, like food, healthcare, rent, and transportation costs. Understand that 50% of your income is all you have to cover your expenses, and then make a budget with that. Because a limit has been put, you will prioritize things that you won't spend on things that you don't need. After this, 30% of your income should be spent on getting rid of your high interest debt. However, if you have a home mortgage, pay the normal payments using a portion of this 30% of your income. The goal is to be debt-free so that the required income from your assets becomes less and therefore more achievable. The remaining 20% should be saved for now and will be invested in the later step. And now, if you feel we did not allocate any money for your wants, such as designer clothes, eating in expensive restaurants, vacations, and so on, then you're right. It's because this phase is temporary, and you have to sacrifice for a future where you will get enough time and money to fulfill all your dreams and desires. If you have no high interest debt to repay, you can accelerate your race towards financial independence by saving up to 50% of your income. Step number 3 is to borrow to speed up the process. At this point, you will be saving 20% or more of your income. However, sometimes you cannot wait to save the entire amount that you will use to buy assets. In other words, chances are you will need to buy, let's say, 3 multi-unit rental properties one by one. For each one, you have to save for years to be able to finally purchase it. This becomes an impractical strategy. That's when you can borrow to buy your first multi-unit rental property that will start paying you. However, for that, you should have a down payment of between 25 to 40% of the total cost. Now you see, saving this amount is more practical. Step number 4 is to automate your savings so as to hit the target figure. If you remember, you need to save for a down payment, and that will not be easy. It's because every month you will have to fight a battle to put over 20% of your income aside, especially when you desperately need it for your expenses. Therefore, to avoid jeopardizing your entire plan, you should automate your savings. This can be done by having a savings account and a current account and connecting them. You will then go and schedule standing orders to your savings account permanently. This will allow your current account to receive your income directly, and before you can get your hands on it, a percentage of your income is instantly deducted and sent to your savings account. Every month, your savings account will get that percentage of your income on which you'll be paid some interest. An even better place to have these savings is a money market unit trust account which pays a higher interest rate. You won't touch this amount until you hit an amount equal to the down payment you need to start buying the property. Step number 5 is to buy the right combination of assets. After saving to pay a down payment, you can buy the property and rent out all of its units. This will bring you rental income every month, which you can use to pay the mortgage payments. This will make your property a self-sustaining one that will pay for itself. Meanwhile, you can proceed to buy the next property, repeating the same process. Your monetary contribution to all the properties which you require will be the down payments you saved by sacrificing. But remember that you will continue to rely on your salary until the mortgages are paid, and the rental income can then be used to cover your expenses. That's the moment when you will be finally and totally financially independent. Would you like to follow these steps and build assets that cover all your expenses? Do you still think that you must have a high salary, or is it possible with whatever you earn? In the comments section below, please share your thoughts and whether you are willing to compromise a little to have a financially independent future. If you want to learn in more detail how you too can generate passive income through real estate investing so that you can finally gain financial freedom, then what you need to do is watch my free training. Click the link in the description below and you will get immediate access. If you love this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for practical insights on financial freedom, personal finance, and financial literacy. Thank you very much for watching.